with the handstand, with the pommel horse, with the rings, and then they had a rope climb, and they had a certain spot to where certain age groups were supposed to stop if they could do it at all. Of course, the little dude, I want to say something else, he went all the way to the top, and he held on with one hand.
Oh, wow.
And was waving at me.
Were you scared?
I'm like, I'm prepared. I'm prepared to do what I got to do and try to catch this dude however I can. This is during this competition.
Yeah.
And so, and he goes, hi, Dad. He's like having a great time. Never used any kind of he just muscled the whole thing with his arms. And then he held on with one arm. Was like, and he's waving and all this stuff. I'm freaking the frack out. Of course, I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? He ended up winning. Wow. So they couldn't give him the biggest trophy. So he got the second place trophy. And he didn't really understand what's going on. And I guess the first place person, they got a Snickers bar, and he wanted the Snickers bar.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, yo, man, you don't even understand what happened. And he's like, I want a Snickers. So I got him a Snickers bar later on. But
he's just having fun.
He's having a good time.
Yeah.
So make a long story short, like I talked about in the book, I'm not sure how much more detail you want me to give you. Every sport that kid got in, he dominated, and he was a gifted athlete. And so early on, I realized I got a gifted child here. He may not be a mathematical genius, or he may not be like, a great actor or something like that. He is a great athlete.
Yeah.
He can look at something, mimic it like he did with the Spider-Man, and then once he got into the gymnastics, he can look at something and he can physically do it.
That's creative genius too.
I'm like this kid is a genius when it comes to athletics. And then I noticed, he would play sports video games. He would break those games down. The Maddens, he conquered them, and he knew them in and out. What he was doing was he was learning the game that he liked to play.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And he would do that with soccer too. And he would do that with basketball. So he would have all the FIFA games for soccer. He would have all the NBA games for basketball and all the Madden football games. And he would play seasons.
Oh, wow.
And he was learning the game.
Yeah.
And so then I would take him to his practices, and he was already doing stuff and giving the coaches suggestions.
Yeah. That's special because, like, to have the attention span early on right there, and then the physical gift too.
There was a picture. I don't mean to cut you off, but yeah, that comment brings a picture in my mind. I actually have the picture. It was actually, a video. And you see him at one of his practices. He's probably like 7 years old. And all the other kids on his team that they're not in the game, they're all cutting up, running around, and you see the other coaches trying to corral them and tell them to pay attention. You look over at Jacob. He has his hands on his hip, and he's studying the game. He is not cutting up. He is not wilding out with the other kids. He's watching the play.
Yeah.
He was engaged, even at that young age. But, of course, when the game's over, he's a little kid. He's running around being stupid and goofy and all that. But when the game is on, he was dialed in.
Wow. Yeah, so was he always competitive? Like
always.
That? Yeah.
Always.